As a social media manager, one of the biggest challenges you will run into is pricing your services. Now, why is that? In our industry, prices range anywhere from $20 an hour to $10,000 monthly retainer packages. Now, there is no clear manual that helps you and tells you how to price your services until today. In today's video, I will go over different pricing models that you can apply to your business. And on top of that, I've created a free pricing model guide in partnership with CloudCampaign that you can download in the description below. Hey, my name is Mil and I own a multi-six-figure social media agency, and I now help social media managers do the same. Now, the first thing you need to consider before choosing any pricing model are your expenses. Typically, the more money you make, the more expenses you will have as a social media manager agency owner. So there are two expenses that are no-brainer for any social media manager or agency owner, and those are one, taxes, and two, a social media management tool. Now, taxes will vary from state to state and country to country, and so you would have to track your own laws and regulations on what percentage of whatever you charge will go to taxes as your own business, right? Now, secondly, having an advanced social media management tool that can help you into all the tasks you will be responsible for clients is extremely important. And so finding a tool that is advanced enough to have all these things covered for you, and two, they're transparent in their pricing. And this is one of the reasons that CloudCampaign is my preferred social media management tool, because they're very transparent about their pricing and what is included in their plans. Now, if you want to know how a social media management tool like CloudCampaign compares to some popular brands in the social media management industry, then check out this video that I did where I did a comparison between Hootsuite and CloudCampaign. Now, on top of these expenses, you may have additional expenses, especially when it comes to software. Let's say designing and video editing like Adobe Express or CapCut, InShot, you name it. And those are smaller costs, but they all add up to expenses you will have in your business, especially starting out. So in this first step, I want you to make a list of all the expenses you would have running your business so that you have an idea of what your expenses look like in the first place. Now, if you'd like to try CloudCampaign social media management tool, then you can check out their 14-day free trial, and I'll link it below. And you can even get a 15% discount code to lower your expenses on their annual plans using code MILU15. Now, let's explore the hourly pricing model. Now, in order to calculate your hourly rate, you need to take a couple of things into consideration. One being your expenses that we just went over, and two, your desired salary and rate that you want to make. Now, I would recommend do some research and find out what is an average rate for your experience level and also the location that you're in, because this will vary greatly on how much people make an average in this position as a social media manager. So let's say we take an entry-level social media manager in Texas here. On average, they would make $26 an hour. So let's say you think this is a fair wage and you are going to go based off this information. You now want to see how many hours you would need to work in order to make a profitable salary. So to break even and find out your break even cost, you need to add up all the expenses you have each month. So let's say you decide to go forward with a CloudCampaign social media management plan, as well as Adobe Express for all your design work, right? That would add up to around $50 a month of expenses starting out. So you would need to work at least, right, 2 hours to break even. But as you have more expenses in Texas, right, you're gonna pay taxes for all the income you make. And of course, you have living expenses on the personal side, right? To where you have to pay rent, healthcare, especially if you're self-employed. So let's say you want to work part-time hours, 20 hours a week, right? At this rate of $26 an hour, you would make a little bit more than $2,000, but you need to deduct the expenses that you have, and you need to make sure that you can cover yourself on the personal side, right? So your healthcare that we talked about, rent, and just your average lifestyle. Now, I'm not talking about lavish lifestyle where you do all the things, but like a bare minimum that you need to make sure that you can live. So now, depending on where you live, making $2,000 and taking all the expenses out, you may need to make more hours and more money in order to feel comfortable living. Also, it really depends depends on whether you're a single person or you have a double income, right? So this all depends. Now, the downside of charging clients hourly is that you're unsure how many hours you will make every month, right? Unless you charge them for a prepaid package. So that's something I personally don't like about hourly, but nevertheless, it's important to know your hourly rate, even for the upcoming pricing models. Now, make sure you don't leave today's video without downloading the free pricing model guide that I've created in partnership with Cloud Campaign. Now that you know your hourly rate, let's talk about a retainer-based pricing model. This is by far one of the most popular pricing models in our industry, and honestly, it's one of my favorite because it's recurring revenue where you contract a client on a certain period of time. Now, it can still be difficult and challenging to price your packages in a retainer-based pricing model, right? But again, you have your hourly rate, so we're gonna reverse engineer your package. Let's say you wanna create one package that includes 12 posts a month, an hour of engagement, and maybe it takes you an hour to schedule out everything, kind of manage the account, right? Now, let's say, because you're tracking your time, creating the content takes you 8 hours, and then you have those 2 hours of engagement and scheduling the content, right? So in total, it takes you 10 hours to work on this package. You want to multiply that by your hourly rate. So that would be $260, but of course you're your own business, so you want to add a profit margin. So for this basic package, I would probably say you can charge around $500 for this package, so you have a comfortable profit margin. And of course, because you have all the personal expenses, taxes will still come out. So a basic package at that $500 rate seems fair considering the hours that you're putting into it. Now, when I started out, I charged $500 just like this package, except I was doing way more work. And this was mainly because I wasn't tracking my time. I had no idea about my hourly rate or how to price myself. And that's why it's so important for you to figure out your hourly rate and how much time each task costs you, even though it can vary because we're in the creative business at the end of the day. Now, having covered these two traditional pricing models, I want to introduce you to a newer pricing model, which is white labeling. If you aren't familiar with the term white label, this is when a company creates a product or service and another company rebrands it as if it's their own. They sell it as their own. Now, Cloud Campaign, who I talked about earlier, they actually offer white labeling options of their social media management tool. Now, this is really great because you can make more money and charge clients for using Cloud Campaign, which can be branded as your own agency. So this is really great because let's say it costs you $25 to add an extra brand to the social media management tool that you have with Cloud Campaign. You can charge the client anywhere from $50 to $80 to get access to a calendar like that, whether they work with you or they do their social media on their own, and you would make recurring money and revenue off of this. So this is something you can incorporate with, yes, your social media management clients, but even with strategy or consulting clients that want extra support of you reviewing content calendars and giving them the tool and the resources to do so while you make money of that. Now, the very last and final pricing model I want to cover in today's video is upselling your current clients. Now, we're often looking for a new business, right, and how to price ourselves with our current packages, but there's often not one size fits all. So something that you can create is an a la carte menu for your current clients or add-ons that people can add on to their packages. So today we discussed a very basic package, right, where they get X amount of posts, they get 1 engagement hour, etc. Now, let's say a client wants double the amount of posts that are actually in that package. You can upsell them and charge more while keeping them as a client and they already know you, right? So this doesn't only have to be with creating more content, but it can even be with, let's say you want to post more video. They want more video content. You can charge extra for this if they no longer fit within that package. And it's a great way to upsell your current clients rather than looking for more business. Because a quote that I hear often is where they say acquiring new business is a lot more expensive than nurturing and keeping your current clients. Now, if you're wondering how to upsell current clients, then here's a little tip for you. Something that you can do, let's say you want to sell an add-on for more video content to a client because you know it would help them, right? Here's what I would recommend you to do. You can offer them to create a case study on them for free, right? where you'd let the client know, hey, we're working on a case study. We're going to offer this service to you for free. Is that okay with you? They say yes. And you're going to create twice the amount of video content that you normally would on their account. And you're going to build a case study by tracking the results and seeing how that impacted their account. Now, let's say you posted twice as much video content and their reach skyrocketed, right? You can now take that case study back to the client and you say, hey, here are the results from our case study that we did on your account. We posted twice as much video content and we reached 4 times as many people as we normally do. Now, if you're interested in us creating video content for you like this on this frequency on an ongoing basis, we do have an add-on package for that. It will cost you X amount extra for us to do so, but you will see better results. And so this is very tempting for a client to lean into and say, yes, let's go ahead. I want better results, just like that one. Now, this wraps up my pricing model video for today. Make sure you download the free pricing model guide that I've created in partnership with Cloud Campaign so that you can reference back to all the things we went over today and calculate your own pricing in your own time. Now, if you want to help me out, please subscribe so I can create more free content just like this for you, and I will see you in next week's video.